What's up everyone, and welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and everything in between. Hope you're all doing awesome, and let's get right into it. Cops called because woman doesn't know how toilets work. Been working for a hotel for over 5 years now, and as sad as this is, it is only the most recent of the crazy stuff I have seen. Our hotel is an extended stay hotel. We close the office at night, but someone is always on call for emergencies. I get a call about a woman needing a plunger. I get up, get dressed, and promptly bring a plunger to the room. A woman opens the door, says nothing, looks me up and down, and grabs the plunger from my hand and slams her door. I don't think much of it, as it's not all that uncommon, sadly. About 10 minutes later, I get a call again. The lady demands that I come back to her room and plunge the toilet for her, saying, "Does it look like I plunge toilets?" Frankly, it did. She is exactly what I imagine a female plumber to look like. She refused to get off the phone with the reservation desks. They screen calls for emergencies and reservations, and threatened to beat on everyone's doors and pull the fire alarm unless she got her toilet fixed or a room changed. I asked the reservation desk how bad she was on a scale of 1 to 10. He said 12. I then steeled myself and went to speak with her in person. The very first words were, "Call your manager." I told her no, I was the one in charge currently, and we do not plunge toilets. She had been in the room for some time, and she would be responsible for a situation that she caused. She started cursing and demanding I call her my manager, and causing quite a bit of a disturbance, before she called the police on me. In the back of my head, I thought it saved me the call to have her removed. While waiting for the police, she called the third-party king of reservations most of you will know, and told them nothing in the bathroom worked, the faucet, the shower, the toilet, and acted like I was the one responsible. They then called me, and I informed them of what was really going on. Police arrive, and when I tell the police that she needs to go, she calms down and starts crying about how she has nowhere to go. Both me and the officer explain that her attitude and the disturbance she is causing is the problem, and that given that she started barking at me the moment we had any interaction at all, I was not all that inclined to go out of my way to help her. She had a sister in town to visit colleges with her. I felt a little bad. I never want to have to kick anyone out. I am actually one of those people who cares about how people stay with us despite how insane some reviewers and people are. I let them stay and even moved them to a new room. The very second they got on the elevator, I went to check their room. Faucet works, shower works, and toilet works. No plunging required. She was flushing so often that the back of the toilet did not have time to fill up with water. I lost a little faith in humanity that day. How do I get to my home when mamas close my street so their babies and dogs can play in the road? No permit, USA. I live on the end of a cul-de-sac in a newer build neighborhood. I've been here for over 5 years. I'm the only person in the cul-de-sac that doesn't have kids, as I'm a single female. The mamas usually close off the cul-de-sac every evening, sometimes during the day too when it's nice out, and allow the children and dogs to play all over the street, and my yard, driveway, and porch. There are 8 kids total, ranging from ages 1 to 6. The problem is, this is usually when I'm coming home from work after a long day. The mamas expect me to park on the street and walk to my home, and then come back later when they're done and get my car in the garage. And I'm not doing this. There's typically toys and various types of tricycles laying all over the road. The parents and kids are also all in the road, and nobody will move from my car as I maneuver around all the obstacles. I've installed security cameras and planted barriers around my property to discourage the trespassers. However, they just throw my mulch, ride bikes through my flower beds. Their dogs have urinated so frequently on my plants that they are now deceased, and they defecate in my yard and leave it. The children have scraped my cars and broken many things, electrical items. Their 1-year-old is frequently found on my porch unsupervised, and I mean multiple times a day. It is only my yard this happens to. However, yesterday was the last straw. I was coming home and the road was closed as usual for their makeshift mommy and me time. I drove around the obstacles and pulled up my driveway. 2 kids, maybe age 5 or 6, ran in front of my car between me and the garage door and held out their hands so I couldn't pull up, blocking my path. Yes, they're in my driveway about a foot from my garage door. The mamas see it happen and do nothing. Next thing I know, a mama is running over, screaming at me that I'm driving too fast, up my driveway. She was referencing how the kids play in my yard and driveway, and I'm putting them in danger, and banging her fists on my door. I then woke up this morning to find she made a large sign that says, "No speeding, children at play," and put it in my yard facing my front door. I did make a call to the police, but they said there's really nothing they can do for neighbor disputes, even though they are trespassing and closing roads. Is this right? How else can I handle this? What would you do? Am I truly in the wrong here? I have spoken to them before, and they've suggested I move if I can't be the village that helps raise their kids. Should I call CPS? The neighbors all agree that I'm the problem here and they're ganging up on me, as they feel I should park and wait and allow the children to play on my property. I even have security footage of a parent instructing their child to steal from my property to teach me a lesson, because I planted barriers. Someone in the comments here said, "Call the non-emergency police number and ask about road closure rules. This is a major safety issue because the emergency vehicles will be impeded by the road closure and all the flotsam on the roads. Also report all property damage and trespassing. They already hate you, no need to worry about rocking the boat. Tip it over and drench the insert preferred descriptor." This is actually so infuriating. The last paragraph of OP's post is a pretty good indication of the kind of mindset that these parents have. How they told OP that she should move if she doesn't want to be part of the village that raises the kids. And unfortunately, with OP not being a parent, she is the odd one out here, so it's unfortunate that there's no one else there to be on her side. But she's definitely not doing anything wrong. As already mentioned, what these parents are doing is a hazard, but in a lot of suburban areas, it's also not that uncommon either to see this kind of thing. They could actually coexist if the parents told their children to just watch out for cars and let them through, and not leave everything scattered all over the road. But instead they're being total tyrants about it and think they own the road. And it's obvious they even tell their kids that too, indicated by the fact that these kids will block OP from driving up her own driveway, as if they're enforcing the rules. There is just so much wrong with this. And all that isn't even mentioning the whole trespassing issue and causing damage on OP's property. That's a whole other topic of its own. 2 construction companies showed up and started to build on my property today without contacting me. One of them is building a mail cluster box for the neighborhood, and the other is building a grand stone sign for the entrance of the neighborhood. Is there anything I can do? At the beginning of summer, I bought a corner lot in a new development, with hopes of building my dream house. It was the first lot sold in the neighborhood. We are now a few months into the construction of my home, much too late to back out, and I feel that I was deceived. As the title states, today the construction of 2 very large eyesores began on my property. This isn't just a little metal mailbox or a welcome sign. The cluster box is the size of a decent shed, and the sign looks like it is going to be huge. Bricks, stones, lights, pine trees, the whole deal. I looked through all the contracts I have signed, but I cannot find anything that mentions these 2 items. I have been told that the cluster box is under order of the developer, and the mailbox of the federal government. The part that really makes me mad is that this neighborhood has been trying to sell lots for 2 years. That is plenty of time to build a mailbox and a sign. I feel that they intentionally waited until someone purchased a property before adding these 2 things to the neighborhood. I would not have paid a fraction of what I did for the land if I knew this is what they were planning. They won't want to move things anywhere else because it will hurt the value of the unsold lots. This whole situation has made me spiteful. I know messing with mail can get you in serious trouble, but is there anything I can legally do to be a pain in the ass? Is there anything stopping me from planting trees all around these things so they are basically invisible? I have some work vehicles I can park where they are building. It can't be illegal to park a truck on your own land, right? Update. Hey guys, a lot has changed in one day, and I don't know if anyone will see this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So I cannot find my actual deed. All of my stuff is scattered from the move, and I really do not know where anything is. I have been in contact with the developer about the mailbox, and he kept telling me that he has no control over the mailbox. Today I called the post department and they told me the developer puts the mailbox wherever they want. The lady on the phone told me that if we do not want the cluster box in our yard, there is no reason it should go there and she will do everything she can to stop it. I then called my developer out on lying to me and he backed down right away. I think if I had agreed to the mailbox being there in the contract, he would not have conceded. He is now telling me that it is on me to find a new place to put it. It is not ideal, but I am counting it as a win. The sign was going to be on both sides of the street, and so big that the hole they dug looked like it was part of my house. I think the developer was embarrassed about the mailbox thing, so he agreed right away that the sign would now only be on the other side of the street. It has been a good day. Neighbor cut my sunshade straps. A few weeks ago, I pulled into a campground. Next door neighbor had used up his entire spot and had a shed on my lot by a few inches. Behind the shed on the other side, he kept his trash cans. I set up my camper, put out my awning, and dropped my screened-in porch. This meant he could no longer walk through my campsite to throw out his garbage. He now had to go the other way around his camper. It also meant his dogs couldn't come over and crap outside my front steps. I'm guessing he got mad about all this, and the fact I called the camp host to make him clean up all the dog crap. He has 2 Irish setters. Anyway, I come home from work on Sunday to find my bungee cords cut. It must have took whoever about 6 tries to cut through it, judging by the looks of it. I'm thinking it's their kid. I was a little pissed, but screw it. The cords were old and stretched out, so I bought some new ones. On Wednesday, I come home from work and all of my straps are undone. Stakes pulled out of the ground. At this point, I know it's not their little kid. I put my new locking straps on, set up my new camera to look out the window, and went on my way. Next Sunday, I come home from work. My straps are cut and part of one is tossed on the roof. I check the camera, and I'll be damned if this a-hole cuts my straps with a set of shears from his shed. Alright, face, game on. I stew for a few days, thinking about how I'm going to screw this guy over. Light bulb goes off, and I shoot up to Lowe's and purchase 2 fly traps. You fill these bags with water and they trap flies. Hundreds of them. And they smell like a steaming dead body smothered with fresh diarrhea. I waited almost a week until they were full. Next Sunday morning at 5:30 as I'm about to leave for work, I have my camper hooked up and ready to leave. I dump the first one down his fresh air intake on his brand new Ram 3500 dually. By chance, I checked his door and it was open, so the second bag I slapped in the driver's seat, and then I tossed my cut-up cords in the bed of his truck. It smelled so bad I almost puked myself. Cut my straps, get the fly traps, bitch. This might almost qualify for nuclear revenge. I'm told I'm pretty extreme and there really isn't any in between. Tit for tat. I don't have any experience myself with these kinds of fly traps, but people in the comments are saying they can be pretty rancid. This commenter here said, "My spouse spilled one of those bags in our kitchen a couple months ago. I'm the one who can handle any gross stuff. It never bothers me at all. I nearly vomited from that smell multiple times. I made them clean it up alone because I couldn't handle it. I had to lock myself in our bedroom and stuff a towel at the door crack until it was purged from the house, which took several hours. And that was a spill on tile. You've definitely permanently ruined his truck." Alright guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. And as always, if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. So take care and I'll see you next time.